everybody. Welcome to Beautiful Broken. I'm your host, Brittany Mahan. I am super, super excited. Last week, we were in studio, but unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we actually took that show down. So if you're kind of wondering where did last week's episode go, it's not up. So that's why you have not found it. This week, we have a guest in the studio. It is the first guest that we are having back since COVID hit us. He's actually one of my good friends from college. His name's Dana. I'm going to butcher his last name. Silvestri. Did I say that right? Okay. Dana Silvestri. And he basically is someone that is super inspirational. I've been following him obviously on Instagram. That's kind of how we keep up with people nowadays. And him and I were very similar in college. We loved to go out. We loved to be social. We loved to party. And then after college, he, got a 9-to-5, realized that kind of lifestyle really wasn't for him, and completely did a mind shift change and started his own company. He can tell you all about that when he gets in after our commercial break. But guys, if you're tuning in, please like and share below. Please comment below. We definitely want to interact with you guys tonight. So if you have any questions for Dana, he'd be happy to answer them. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have a short video that he made, and then we'll bring him in.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's good? What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah!
The boys, check it out.
Stand up, do my terrorists, gon' compare us. Go!
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's the sound? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. It's so not worth it.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back. Dana, so good to see you today. How are you?
I'm amazing. It's a pleasure to be on here. Thank you for having me on, and it's great to reconnect since college.
Literally, it's been like what, 7 years?
I would say 7-8 years, yeah.
So long. For all of you tuning in, this is Dana. Me and him met back in college, and again, just to kind of lap everything together. We both love to go out, we're super social, and then he made a drastic lifestyle change just like I did. And I just think it's so refreshing to meet someone who's the same age as me, who thinks like me. And I think that, especially being 25, and are you 25 or 26?
26.
Okay, so especially being 25 and 26, to start our own company and to be kind of down this entrepreneurship path, it's rare. I feel like not a lot of people are on our path. But it's also COVID time, so we also have to put that into consideration, that a lot of people have gone from having a 9-to-5 job to now just kind of hanging at home, wondering what they should do. So I'm going to actually let you share your story, but before I let you share your story, I actually want the audience to watch the video that we created, kind of giving them an idea from where you began to where you are now.
Awesome. Let's do it.
I've been on a journey from the scared, anxious, shy kid who would hide behind his parents and not look people in the eye when being introduced to them. That kid who had a speech impediment was in extra help classes until 16 years old. The kid who didn't want to speak because of the mockery of messing up on a word. I still remember people asking me, why don't you ever talk? The kid who had a self-limiting belief that I was not smart enough and carried it for years and years. The kid who loved baseball and would be batting and so anxious about who was watching that all I could hear was strike three. Also on the other end, I've been that kid who loved to share with others and discover new things. That kid who would find a crab at the beach and act like it was the holy grail and hold it up. That kid who had an entrepreneurial spirit ingrained in him at the age of 13 when I would sell gum and candy and had a MySpace business page. That kid who always knew there was something more to life and knowing I could provide it. I lost my aunt and uncle to cancer. I was left devastated and not wanting the same fate. That's around the same time I fell in love with working out and eating healthy. I was still lost. I didn't know where to start. I went to college. It was great having freedom, but I got in trouble with partying. Oh boy, did I love to party. I thought this was living life. I just didn't understand I was holding back my power. I just thought living for the weekend was the answer. We all have a power within us, just begging to be deployed. There's no point of waiting another second. Your ideas, thoughts, and more will change through the power of osmosis and mirror neurons when you surround yourself with the right people. Soon I lost someone very close to me in a car accident and I was left thinking, what am I supposed to do in life? I need to start now. Society hasn't graded us. There's only one way to be successful, and it's to be like everyone else. The fear of judgment, the fear of lack of love and connection has trained our brains to take the safe route. In this game called life, I was playing not to lose instead of playing to win. We have all been conditioned since the day we were born by society, by the news, by our emotional situations, by our parents, by our friends, by trauma. That's all within our subconscious. This is our paradigm. 95% of our thoughts are from our subconscious mind and 5% are from our conscious mind. It's time to gain back awareness and take control. It's not your fault you're quiet. It's not your fault you have social anxiety. It's not your fault you don't think you're smart. It's not your fault you were in an abusive relationship, but it is your fault if you don't take steps to change it. That's the big secret. We can change our paradigm back by thoughts, habits, routines, actions, and get results. I finished college with a degree in business and soon discovered my job was soul-sucking every day. I was stuck in a cycle of going out on the weekend, drinking, staying up all night, and feeling horrible the next day and ordering takeout. I was abusing my mind, body, and spirit. One day it all changed. I made a decision. I no longer was going to settle. I no longer was going to avoid my issues. I no longer was going to procrastinate. I no longer was going to feel replaceable and unappreciated at work. Each one of you has the same decision to make on a daily basis. I worked my full-time job for 8 hours. I worked 5 hours afterwards on my dream. I hated reading because I didn't get to choose what to read. I started to read. I read over 57 books in a year and a half, listened to podcasts, invested in thousands of dollars in programs. I found the right mentors and coaches. I stopped partying, which freed up time to do this all. This was the best decision of my life. Remember that shy kid who wouldn't talk? I did my first professional comedy show last year. I went skydiving. I ran a half marathon on a raw diet cleanse. It's not going to be easy, but it'll all be worth it. When it's a must, it must happen. Remember that kid who thought that he wasn't smart? Now I have my own personal brand. I make multiple videos a week. I have a team. I have a one-on-one coaching program, a group mastermind program. I have a mastermind event going live next month. Each one of you is here for a reason. The first thing is gaining clarity. We must discover why we are a certain way and step away from any people, thoughts, or things that tell us that we're not worth it. We are limitless, we are abundant, and we are here once. Each one of you has something you are passionate about and enjoy. There's absolutely no reason why you can't build a career around it. I will transform your perception of yourself. I will give you more clarity. I will teach you new habits, routines, rituals, and lifestyles. I'll provide you with the momentum you've always desired. You want to change your diet and work out? You can. You want to start a business? You can. You want to double your income? You can. You want to give a TED Talk in 2 years? You can. It's your time. The only thing holding you back is yourself. Are you ready?
Oh, that gets me so fired up. I made that earlier today, and every single one of my guests who come on the show, I ask them to kind of speak from their heart to tell the audience a message. And Dana absolutely killed it. You absolutely killed it. That was so good.
Yeah, I mean, I just tied in my story into there, a little inspiration, a little motivation, just give people what they wanted to hear and made it powerful. And I appreciate you working with me on that.
Yeah, definitely. I can connect with you. I've never been shy per se. I don't think anyone's shocked by that. But I definitely had a hard time looking people in the eyes when I was a kid. So I can definitely relate to you on that. My mom and dad always practiced that with me. They were like, make sure you look people in the eye, Brittany, look people in the eye. So what was a big change for you? How did you transition into being that shy kid to then being able to stand in front of people and do comedy?
Yeah, so it was a whole process. I grew up middle child. I had an older brother and a younger sister. And I'm not sure why I was shy. I thought it was just a part of life. But I have, these memories of basically my parents introducing me to people, and I would hide behind my parents, and they've told me stories about that. And I also have memories of, I wouldn't be able to look people in the eyes, signs of shyness like that. And it was always within me. And I also had a speech impediment when I was 16 years old. And I was in extra help classes. I had a speech impediment growing up, and I was in extra help classes through middle school and college until sophomore year when I was 16. And those are just like, kind of the bad things that were going on in my life, but they made me who I am. And then later on, when I was younger, I would go to the beach, and I loved like looking for crabs. I always loved to discover new things. So I like what I said in that intro video. I would go there in Maine with my parents or whoever, just at the beach, find a crab, and I would just hold it up like it was the Holy Grail. And to me, that was awesome. That was my sense of discovery of the unknown and whatnot. And I would also do that. Like another instance when I was younger is I would look for grasshoppers, and I'd bring them into show and tell to my teachers, and I'd show the whole class like, this is the greatest thing I've ever discovered. So I always had that within me. And like now I go by like knowledge broker, and the same thing, breaking knowledge to people. I learn, I grow myself, I do these tactics, I apply them, and then I go on and I teach them to other people. Right. So it's the same type of thing in that situation. And like when I was growing up, I wanted to be in the sense of kind of like someone that helps someone. And I know there's a lot of controversy going on right now with police officers, but I wanted to be a police officer back then. And the reason was I would always watch cops, and I would see them helping people, and just like the beauty of that. And a funny story is when I was at daycare one time, and I remember this, someone told me if I went to the phone and I clicked these numbers, 911, when I was younger, that the cops would show up and they could sign autographs and take pictures. No. So I went in there and I clicked 911, and the cops and the ambulance came, and I got in trouble. But,
no autograph.
No autograph. That I remember, but I remember that as well. But just through this process, this whole journey, thanks to my parents, they put me in sports. They put me into those extra help classes just to help. A good thing with sports was that I could get on the field. I could relate to what I was doing. I could work as a team. I could build that confidence up within me. Even in middle school, I had like an entrepreneurial spirit. Like I would sell gum and candy. I would take lists, and I had a MySpace page. It was called Young Diesel's Biz. So
that's cute.
So Dana Silvestri's business, and I was 13 years old. I don't like to say this, I was able to buy cigars down the street at age 13.
Okay.
So I would go there, and I would sell it to people.
Little drug dealer over here.
Hey, they sold it to me, but I had that spirit within me. I always liked things about money and helping people, and the only thing holding me back was when I played these sports. When I played baseball, like in the example I gave, I would be up at bat, and I was such a good baseball player. My dad can attest to this, but I would think about, who's watching me, who's in the stands, is that a girl from my class in there? What's she thinking? And
right.
I would strike out, or I would get in my head too much, and I never knew why I did this. So I went on this journey. That was like another reason I went on this journey, to figure out like what was going on with my mindset. What's going on with other people? Why do people think this way? Why do they act this way?
That was my beginnings too. I really, really became obsessed with wondering why people acted the way they acted. So I began to research. But yes, keep going. Yeah.
So that happened. Then, at the end of high school, I got into just like drinking with some of my friends. That's basically what we knew. It was fun. It was fun to get drunk and do that. And it was like a new experience that everyone goes through. And so my parents, society, everyone, they said, just go to college, you're going to get a career, and you're going to do that for the rest of your life. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what else to do, so I'll just do this. So, I went to school, and I went to Bridgewater, and that's where I met you.
Yes, that's where we met.
After, that was my first sense of real freedom. And that was like an adventure to me. I did well in school, but I like to party.
Yeah.
And I got in some trouble. I ended up transferring to a different school. And just like looking back, I went into a cycle, and I met a lot of great people at my next school, but I was partying on the weekend, and I wasn't really paying attention to my studies. I was doing well, but I was just getting that whole experience in there. And eventually I graduated with a business degree, and then I got a job, and I was ready. I was prepared for this. I was so happy. I was like, I got my first job. Like, this is going to be my career for 40 years. I got in there. We went through the whole process. I got thrown right on the phones, no training, anything. It was so scary because I've never done anything like that. Before that, I was doing a physical labor job. So I got thrown on the phones, thrown into the fire, as people say. And I went 6 months, and, I was doing 60 hours of work, getting paid for 40. After 2 years or 1.5 years, I had these thoughts saying, why am I doing this? Like, this isn't me. Like, why aren't I following my heart? Why aren't I following my passion? What is my passion? All these thoughts coming back. And I forgot to mention, like when I was younger, I lost my aunt, my uncle to cancer, and that really impacted me because a big thing that really helped my self-image and self-esteem was starting to work out when I was 16 years old. That put together like everything and gave me that confidence to get in front of people to play sports. And so that was a huge part of working out, just getting that, the self-confidence together. But back to college. So I did that. I mean, back to my first job. So then I ended up thinking of other ways to do this, and I ended up reading. I read over, between Audible and reading books, I read over 57 books in a year and a half. I found a mentor. I found Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, and they really put me through a whole system and coaching program and mentored me on like different ways of thinking, stuff that people don't really think about that I've been around, stuff that I've never heard before, and I thought I didn't know what to think. And then up to now, like Corona happened, and I was at my second job, and the same thing. I was working on branding myself after work for 5 hours a day for about 2 years, and I was planning my getaway from this job, my second job, because I didn't like it as well. And it was a funny story. So I invested, I think it was $1,000 in this other coaching program about mindset. The first thing you wanted to do in this group, you want to go into the Facebook group and you want to say, what is your major goal for the year? And I typed it out. I said, my major goal for the year is to leave my 9-to-5 job in the next couple months. And next day, my manager said, hey, can you get on a Skype call? I said, sure. Got on the Skype call. She said, unfortunately, all the projects have shut down and we no longer need you.
Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like, wow, crap, you lost your job. But to me, I was like, wow, I just asked for this yesterday.
You're like, this was quick.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is good. It feels good. Like now I have everything in place. I've been working on this for a year and a half, 2 years. I have everything in place to do this, and that's when I went off, and that was a couple months ago, and I launched. I was still in the Bob Proctor coaching on Dean.
What was that one called?
That's just Bob Proctor Premier Coaching.
Okay.
And that's just a very expensive coaching program that helps you see past your self-limiting beliefs, helps you with your mindset.
Can you explain to everybody, because I want to get into this a little bit. So his whole journey, if you've been listening, has been his mindset that has preventing him from making it or not striking out. So what are self-limiting beliefs for those out there who don't know?
Yeah, so a self-limiting belief is just something that you confront and holds you back. So I like to call it like a terror barrier. So you have an idea, or you have something that is bigger or more big than yourself, and you have this idea to go do it, and all of a sudden this voice comes in your head, and it's like, you're not good enough, you're not a good speaker, you can't do that. And that's that barrier right there. And a lot of times that barrier, and it's like the Wizard of Oz, I'm assuming you've all seen that, and they finally get to meet the guy, and they pull back the curtain, and he's just this not powerful person at all. Everyone's disappointed. That's your terror barrier, and once you break through that, on the other side's freedom. So there's a couple steps to it. There's like the comfort zone, which is like bondage, and then there's reasoning, like an idea comes into your head. Okay, so I want to brand myself, I want to get this started, and then you get kind of confused in conflict. If you don't get past the confusion and conflict, you go all the way back to the bondage of the comfort zone, and it's a cycle that goes on and on and on. But if you're able to get through that barrier, which is that guy behind the curtain that's not even so big, and then you get the freedom, and then you make progress.
What was the biggest self-limiting belief? Thank you everybody for commenting. Hi, Bianca. Oh, Bianca said hi.
Hey, Bianca. Long time.
But what was one of the barriers that you overcame?
First off, my speaking. Like I said, I had a speech impediment, and
what is the speech impediment, just for those who don't know?
I couldn't pronounce like S's. I couldn't pronounce my R's. It's just something when you can't pronounce.
So you're just from Boston, not a big deal.
Yeah, a little bit. But I was in those classes along with the speech impediment, and this resulted. I didn't know until a couple of years ago. This resulted in me being in person with people and not wanting to talk because of my fear that I couldn't pronounce like a part of a word. And then that people would be like, "What the heck are you saying? Like, why are you saying that?"
Were you like that when I met you in college? Like, did you not talk that much in college?
You tell me.
I mean, I'm gonna say no, but that's only because we weren't like ever. I don't know. I don't think me and you ever like sat down one-on-one. You know what I mean?
No, I mean the shyness was really, early childhood, middle school, elementary school, middle school, and then it started to fade away once I started like doing those sports and stuff. That's why I said thank you to my parents. but I still have it in me. You know, I can present myself as really confident, but you know, you could be shaking in your shoes.
Oh, definitely. That's the worst. When you're like, everyone thinks you're good and you're like, oh.
Yeah, but the thing is, people can't, you know, if you're nervous in a situation, people cannot tell. It's all in your head.
Right.
And
isn't that wild?
That's so wild. And another big thing is it's called neural association. So I put associations to different things. So like before I would think about public speaking, I would be, oh my God, that's so scary. Like, I don't want to do that. And that would cause my mind to avoid that barrier, which I referenced, which would keep me in my comfort zone. So your body and your nervous system also, they can't tell the difference between if you're excited or if you're scared about a situation. So your body can't tell the difference, but your mind can.
Okay.
So if you put a neural association to public speaking, like what I did for comedy, oh, I love public speaking. Like, this is gonna be so much fun. I'm excited.
Now, did you believe that, or was that something you had to work towards? Like, were you just saying, like, let's say I had a mirror in front of me, and let's say I wanted to be a public speaker, but I was scared. Did you look at yourself in the mirror and then tell yourself repetitively, like, I love public speaking, it's gonna be easy, and then eventually you believe that? Is that kind of the system, or?
All right, so this is gonna get really deep now.
I know, I love this conversation. I'm excited. I've been waiting to have it.
All right, so 95% of your thoughts come from your conscious mind. 95% of your thoughts come from your subconscious mind.
And what is the subconscious mind?
The subconscious mind is where your traumas are, where your self-limiting beliefs live, the things that you can't impact. It's basically from the ages of 1 to 7 years old, you're in a hypnagogic state. And you're able to be conditioned, or like picture you buy a computer and you're throwing this, it's a blank slate. And over the course of the years, you know, you're putting, all these files on it, you're putting screenshots on it, and that's basically like a human. So the first 7 years of your life, you're a sponge. You're sucking in everything. You're sucking in everything you're seeing, everything you're smelling, everything you hear, everything your parents are doing, everything on the news. So that forms your base personality. And that's what happened. And that's the subconscious is based off of that. So a lot of people go through their whole life and they're still living off that childhood based personality of their subconscious, and not really, like what I call it, upgrading your mind. So they're going, they're 40 years old and they're still scared of, sponges because of that time that their mom threw a sponge at them. That's just an outrageous example, but it came to my mind.
No, that's a good one. I get it.
You know what I mean? So you're living through this paradigm that has that in it, and we're not able to access it. So I have a bunch of tools and stuff that help you like rewire that in a sense.
What is, you just said the word paradigm. For those who don't know, what is a paradigm?
So paradigm is basically your self-limiting beliefs that are held within your subconscious. So your basis that you stand at and that you operate on in autopilot. So you have 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And I said what I say, 95% of those are subconscious thoughts. So 95 of those you're just doing every day. Like you wake up in the morning, you get up, you snooze your alarm for 5 minutes, you snooze your second one, you get up, you make a coffee, you do this, you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you have the same conversation, and you do the same thing at work, then you go home all over again, and you don't even think anything about it. So that's basically living that out. But once you have awareness, and you bring your awareness up, you bring your discernment up, then you're able to take control of that. So if you're doing the same thing every single day, and you want to create a new life, it's not going to happen because you're living in the past.
How do I create awareness within me?
You create awareness like I did. You start reading, you start listening to podcasts, you start listening to people that are where you want to be. You do not listen to people that are naysayers that are putting you down. You don't listen to people that are going to tell you can't do things. And then going back, you were mentioning like looking in the mirror and saying some sort of affirmations. I think you were talking about I am affirmations or mirror talk.
Oh yeah, look at you go.
So if you go to my apartment, they're all over the place.
Okay.
All right. I write things by hand, and you can ask my girlfriend. I put them all over the bathroom. They're all over the shower. It looks like I'm a crazy person.
I don't want to cut you off, but read what Doug just wrote. He said, I'm 53 and have been held back from moving on since 14 due to anxiety. Doug, you are not alone in that, my friend. I know I'm 25, but I tackled that anxiety monster so hard this quarantine because it was completely controlling my life. Dana, have you ever struggled with anxiety?
Oh, yes, I have.
When you used your mirror affirmations, the I am, what was something that you did to kind of handle your anxiety?
For anxiety, I use something else. So I used, the morning routine with mindfulness, movement, exercise. But the anxiety is an issue because, Doug, you're focused on the future, not the present. Okay, so when you're focused on the future, you're going to be anxious about that, and your mind cannot predict the future, so it's going to kick back to the left side of your brain, and you're going to go into flight or flight mode. Your amygdala if I pronounce that right, is your fight, flight, or hide is going to kick in, and you don't know how to predict the future. We're not wizards. So you're going to think about the past, and you're going to think about a past experience, and you're going to replay that in your mind, and that's what's going to happen to you. So you need to ground yourself. You need to be present. You need to focus on something around you that you can smell, something that you can see, something that you can hear. Just ground yourself in that sense. Going back, so I started meditating, and if someone wants to look someone up, look up Joe Dispenza. Okay? So he's a neuroscientist, and he focuses on neuroplasticity. And basically, you're meditating. He puts you into a low brainwave state of theta and alpha waves, which is lower, beta is higher. And basically, when you do that, you're able to, and this sounds a little crazy, you're able to influence your subconscious mind and your paradigm. So when you go into there, he runs you through meditations that can really help you out. And you want to picture, your ideal life. You want to picture like who you're going to be, what you're going to talk like, how you're going to act. If I want to be a public speaker, like who's going to be around me, what am I going to be saying to them? And you really want to picture that all out beforehand. And there's a whole science behind this. Your brain, and listen to this, your brain cannot distinguish when you close your eyes between what's for reality and not. And it's a Harvard study, and basically it's called the Harvard Piano Project, and I think it was in 2003. And they got a group of people for 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, for a couple weeks. There was one group that they said, hey, you're going to play these notes on the piano, you're going to practice for 2 hours, and then there's another group that you're just going to visualize. So visualizing, you're going to sit there, you're going to play the piano in your mind, you're going to use all your senses behind it, and we're going to see what happens. They did a brain scan before, and they did a brain scan after. There was amazing results. So both parties and participants increased the part of their brain that, I think it was the motor part of their brain that influences motor movement. Both went up, a certain percentage. The people that actually did it, obviously it went up way more. The people that visualized doing it, they actually built their brain. It's a muscle. It's like working your bicep. You can build your brain, and people don't know this. So that proves that that's possible. And another example was there was a project from the Cleveland Institute, I believe it was called, in 2004 as well, or 2003. And it's kind of a silly project. They just sat there. There was two groups as well. One group went like this, just moved their finger for 15 minutes a day for 3 months. The other group visualized doing it. The group that actually moved their finger increased the motor part of their brain, increased the muscle, and they were able to measure this by 55%, I believe, and the other group by 33%. So the reason I'm telling you this is what I did is and this is a whole program I teach about. I planned out my whole future with goals, with my a mission statement in extreme detail with all my senses. So I would sit there during these meditations, and I would just go over and over and visualize that future self, visualize the super self. How would I act? How would I speak? How would I feel? And as I did this, I started to take on other hard tasks. Like I started to do public speaking, comedy shows and stuff like that, and I started to act like that person, and it started to become a reality because your brain can't distinguish between the reality or not.
So now let's say I'm insecure. How did you overcome that? Because insecurity is just a feeling. So what did you do to kind of make yourself confident enough to go in front of people to do a comedy show?
Yeah, so that goes back to the paradigm as well. So insecurity is because of your self-image that you hold for yourself. And like a lot of people, they will, be overweight or something, and they'll go for the gym for 3 months, they'll lose all the weight. But the fact that they don't change their paradigm or their self-image inside, it doesn't matter because they'll gain all that weight back. So the goal is to change that paradigm, that self-image that you're going through on the inside.
How do I do that?
Well, that's one tactic is the visualization, which you can sit there. It doesn't have to be through meditation. You can do breathing techniques. You can do affirmations. Like you said, affirmations on the mirror. You can write those out. And the thing is, you can't just sit there and read them and not feel them. You have to feel them first off, and you have to get that into your nervous system, okay? And this might sound a little crazy as well, but it's what I do. Like I would do push-ups and recite affirmations in my head or say them out loud. Or you can do such like Tony Robbins would walk. Because when you do that, it gets into your nervous system. Your nervous system is attached to your brain. Your brain's attached to your spinal cord. And your spinal cord and your brain and your nervous system, basically your reality that you're experiencing right now, it takes us in the 5 senses and it puts perceptions on it. So what I'm trying to say is once you get into your nervous system, you can change your reality in that sense, internal first, and then you'll start taking those actions because there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. It's like Tony Robbins says, when you buy like a Honda, and then all of a sudden 2013 Honda, and then all of a sudden you notice all the Hondas driving by. Your brain's gonna start to pick up like ideas, thoughts, and things to help you get to that reality that you want. And then if you take action on those ideas, you'll end up living that dream life that you always wanted. But it's a lot of work. You have to get through that barrier. You have to work on your self-image, and it's something I'm big on momentum. And a lot of people say, "Oh, momentum doesn't last." Yeah, sure, it doesn't last, but yeah, you need momentum to start, and then you can go from there. But the thing is, you have to keep this up. This is like what I do. I'm basically gonna do this for the rest of my life.
Right,
and
it's a lifestyle.
And when I stop, I could go back to drinking. And people don't understand that. Like, you have to be committed, and you have to be disciplined, and you have to. The reason I do all this is because my why is bigger than me. You know, the reason I do it, the reason I get up in the morning, my purpose. Your purpose is always changing, but you have to have a why. You have to have goals. You have to have that all set. I think less than 10% of people write down the goals, and I believe in writing it down, and then 3% act on it. You know what I mean?
Wow,
So
only 3% act on the goals they write down?
that was another Harvard study. It was I think 13% wrote down their goal of the graduates, and 3% act on it.
Wow. I know a lot of people are feeling down right now because it's COVID, but everything Dana is saying right now today is the perfect time. Most of you are sitting at home. Most of you do not have a job right now. Most of you want a lifestyle change. So if that's truly what you're looking for, I would definitely look into Dana's Instagram. Dana, why don't you give everybody your Instagram on where they can find you?
Yeah, my Instagram's at the Dana Silvestri. You can also find me on my website. It's www.thedanasilvestri.com. The cool thing about me, and there might be other people that do this, I like to get to the operating system. Like, I believe the change occurs on the innermost part of you. Like, a lot of coaches and people like that, they just want to give you stuff and make money. My goal is to change you, and a lot of people don't like that word change. Humans do not like that word, so I don't like using it.
I know.
Transform you, you know?
I am changed, so I feel the negative.
I mean, you like it after, but it's very difficult in the process. So there's a lot of different strategies you can do. There's a lot of different things in the sense of, like, okay, so a lot of people have a picture they want to do, and they have the habits down for a couple of days, and they lose it.
Right, the momentum stops. So how do you keep the momentum going?
Okay, so I'll tell you how I do it, and then I'll hop it back. I love the brain, and I don't have a degree in neuroscience or anything, but I love talking about it. But so
me too, honestly. I think the brain, when people, and actually let's talk about this now. When you were drinking, I think the biggest, when I was drinking, so I'm 2 months sober now, and I'm super, super excited about it because every month that I stay sober, it's like I figure out something else, and I get over a limiting belief of mine, and I become more confident, and I get in more control of what I'm thinking. So for you, Dana, like, what was your biggest transition from, like, your negative mindset when you were drinking versus, like, the one you have right now?
Yeah. Well, first off, the cycle of just going out and drinking on the weekend, it was a lot of fun and stuff. But the thing is, I would go and drink on the weekend, on Saturday usually, and then Sunday, I would feel like crap. I would have anxiety. I would feel horrible. I didn't even know what I was doing to my body. I would order fast food. I would never order fast food, but pizza. I love pizza. I would order pizza, chicken wings, and I wouldn't get better to Wednesday. And I was stuck in this cycle that kept going, and I didn't wake up to any of this. And I say wake up because I want you guys to know that. Until I stopped that process, and I was like, these ideas started to come to me. Can you just repeat what you said? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I just wanted to know, like, how, like, so people out there who are watching it, if you've had bad habits during quarantine, if you've been drinking nonstop, if you've been smoking nonstop, like, how would you help them go from being in a state of mind where they're just very unhappy, depressed, anxiety, lonely, into this? Like, what is something that they can do today, right now, that will help them transition into that mindset that you're talking about, that's confident and powerful and strong?
Yeah. Big thing is just pay attention to what you're watching and putting into your brain, okay? Unfortunately, if I go on Facebook, there's so much stuff going on that you want to stay up to date about, but it's a lot of disgusting stuff, a lot of bad energy, bad attitudes. You get sucked into that, you're just not going to be productive on your day. Like, don't even bother looking at that. Instead, like, my whole Instagram was basically just people I knew, friends from high school, college. And then I started to integrate people, like mentors that I started to research that had positive content, or mentors and coaches that provided programs and stuff like that. It's all free. All the content's free. We have the internet at our hand. So my suggestion would be, start to unfollow the people that or unfriend requests the people that you don't talk to anymore, and the people that are posting that stuff, because that's not who you are, and that's holding you back. It was holding me back. And start to follow people that are where you want to be. If you don't know where you want to be, I mean, you can contact people like me. I can help you. You don't have to invest in any of my programs. You can just DM me or something like that. I will help you, because I truly want you to get to where you have to be. Everyone's here for a reason. Everyone's here for a purpose, and I want you to get there. So just stop. I mean, it's really hard. If it's friends, it's family members, just be who you are, basically, and stop putting those negative thoughts into your brain, because that will mess you up. Everyone right now is in a state of fear. People are scared to go outside. People are scared, to be around certain people. It's madness. It's madness. And you guys just need to stay positive. And you can literally, like, I get an email to me like once a day, and it says like the 5 top things that happened that day. Why do I have to watch all the news for an hour and a half about the same things I know is going on, and it's going to be the same things tomorrow? So that would be my big thing is start making changes like that. Like, start unfriending those people and start following the right people. And I can help you as well if you need people to follow. Everyone's different. Everyone has different passions, but I can guide you in the right direction.
So now, what if I'm one of those people that is just negative, don't believe in this stuff? I'm like, yeah, okay, Dana, whatever. How would you inspire me to kind of believe that this is true? And is it going to really make me feel better? Am I looking for a feeling, or am I looking for materialistic objects here?
You're never looking for materialistic objects, people. You're looking for the feeling they'll give you. Mm-hmm. And happiness is a choice, first off. You can be happy in the moment right now. That's a big thing with meditation and just closing your eyes. If you just go in the room tonight and you close your eyes, just think, are you happy to be with your mind? Are you happy to be with your state of consciousness? That's a big question. So, this is a big thing here. Like, I had someone very close to me pass away in the car accident when I was 21, and it brought me up with these thoughts like, why are we here? People were wondering about the Kardashians and what kind of makeup they have. Why don't we think about like why we're here? What can I provide? What kind of value can we do? So it's things like that. And in the instance of the people that aren't really at the point of wanting to be there yet, you can't really force anything onto anyone. They have to be at that point. So you can, like I said, you don't want to surround yourself with people like that just because it won't help you. But if they're willing to learn, or they're willing to grow, they're coachable, they have a growth mindset which is innate in every human. One of our innate things that we need in life is to grow. We're advancing people. Mm-hmm. We're advancing. Everything's advancing. Nature's advancing. The universe is advancing. God's advancing. Humans are advancing. Everyone is. So if they want to hide that, then they're not ready. They're not ready to talk to you. But they'll. I have a bunch of people that send my stuff. You can see when people send your content, mm-hmm. and they won't comment or like it, but they'll send it. So I guarantee you they're not saying the nicest things. Yeah. But why are you following me if it's not within you? So. Right.
And so what if, thank you, Adam, for the congrats on 2 months. I appreciate the support. Cut out the negativity is huge. But what do I do if, now it's quarantine time, we're stuck at home with our family members? What if one of my family members is one of the most negative people I know? What should I do being home, trapped in a house with them for days on days? How do I avoid them? How do I ignore that?
Essentially, you have a level of awareness that's different than theirs, and your perception of reality is different. So you don't want to argue with them. You don't want to, drop down to the level or have them meet you at your level. Don't act better than them. You just let them be, and you plant seeds, and that's about it. Brittany, mm-hmm. I can't give you a straight answer because you don't want to force anything upon anyone. Okay. When they're ready, they'll come to you. When they see you, a big thing is when friends, family members don't understand what I'm doing, and then they see it growing, they're like, oh, he must be doing something right. Like I see it now. It's tangible. It's in this physical reality. Mm-hmm. So when they start seeing that, they'll come to you. So I wouldn't approach. I wouldn't force any beliefs on anyone. It's a very sensitive subject, and no one's better than anyone. Everyone's limitless in their own senses. They just need to realize that. So yeah, that's my advice for that.
What videos would you suggest that I watch, or somebody out there watch, in order to stay positive and stay focused? Because if I'm not going to watch the news, then what else should I be watching?
Yeah, videos. I think you just follow. It's a good question. just follow the right people. Like you could follow Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor. Those are my core like big three. Joe Vitale.
Those are mine too, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I definitely that's where I start. Like for me, people, just to kind of share a little something. I would just go on YouTube and I would type in like how to be happy today, how to deal with anxiety, like how to not be angry at my mom when she gets me mad. Like it's like just little. We live in a world, just like Dana said, where technology and the internet is at our fingertips. So for you to act like you can't find an answer to a question that you have, it's just not a good enough excuse, because it's not an excuse anymore.
Yeah, and going off of that is like I know like everything about Tony Robbins because I'm in his program.
I'm in his program too, though, to be honest.
Yeah,
I tell you that.
You told me that. Yeah.
So just so you all know that Tony Robbins is this self-made billionaire. He literally was homeless. His mother was very abusive. He had a bunch of different dads, and he was just so sick of struggling. So he started his own company called Tony Robbins, which he just literally takes people and completely transforms their lives. I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix is something to check out if you've never heard of Tony Robbins. He's all over YouTube. Dean Graziosi and him are partners. Dean is he got famous because he was a real estate agent who then also became a multi-billionaire as well. But together they have created this mastermind program. And in this mastermind program, they are teaching people like Dana and I how to be elite thinkers and how to take our limiting beliefs that are preventing us from achieving our life goal and our life purpose and completely demolishing all limiting beliefs and becoming the person that we truly want to be. I'm telling you right now, I've worked for the Red Sox, I've worked for the Bruins, I've worked for Nesson for 4 years. I just started my own company. Obviously, you guys can see that. If it was not for Dean and Tony, I would not be doing any of this today. So I'm pretty sure Dana can say the same for his story as well.
Yeah, so like you said, Tony Robbins is the #1 business strategist, and I think it was a coach in the nation. Dean Graziosi, over $1 billion in real estate sales. I think he's like a 5-time New York Times bestselling author.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are people that you want to surround yourself with. You need mentors, you need coaches, and you need to know what your vision, because everyone's different. Like if I'm happy, being a janitor, and that's my goal in life, then that's fine. That's fine. But you should find someone who's a good janitor. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to find someone that's been a successful entrepreneur. Don't listen to the entrepreneur that is telling you can't do it, because I tried this and I didn't do it right. And also going back to like about Tony Robbins is he grew up and he was dirt poor. He was homeless, like everything she said. And he would buy cassettes, and you'd have to listen to them over and over and over again and he had to pay like $200 for a whole set from the store and everything like that. We have, like she said, like Brittany said, we have the internet at our hands. We can go to YouTube. There's so much free stuff. There's so much content. There's everything. We're so lucky, and it's a time that the information business, that's what it's called, is a $350 million business per day. It's going to go up to $1 billion in 5 days. That's why I'm in it now.
Yeah.
You have to get in there. You have to do something with that. There's going to be AI that's going to be taking jobs that can be replaceable, but humans cannot never be replaceable. We have communication. We have that special thing within us that will never be replaced by robots. So I need to find something in that area.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so special about. I love humans. Beautiful Broken is all about, like, Dana, thank you for being who you are, because like you were, like, I saw through Instagram how you were progressing in your life, and that's exactly what Beautiful Broken is about. It's about humans that come on my show that can talk to other humans that are watching and say, listen, don't just follow me because I read a book. Like, follow me because I read a book and I took action, and now I'm living the life that I want to be living. It's not just, hey, follow me because I have a degree and I paid a lot of money for this degree. I don't really have the outcome that you want, but I have this degree. You know what I mean?
I completely understand, and you have to find people around you that are in your life as well. Like, one of my major drivers is my sister. She was born deaf, and she's about to graduate college. So every time I think about an obstacle, I just think about how she has a major disability and she's doing her thing. So why can't I? Why can't you do it as well?
Dana, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to wrap this all up.
Must judge people based on those labels. We're not really being patriotic, are we? Because love has no labels.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah! Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at SheCanSTEM.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Dana had a lot of insight. This episode will always be on Beautiful Broken's Facebook page. So if you're just tuning in now, after the show's done, you can start it from the beginning and watch the whole thing over. I do want to bring Dana back in because I want him to explain to you guys his ebook that he has online. So Dana, take it away.
Yeah, guys. So I just wanted to tell you, I have a free ebook. You can get it on my Instagram. You can get it on my Facebook page. You can get it on my website that I mentioned at the Dana Silvestri. And it's called Win Your Morning, Win Your Day, Win Your Life. And it cuts basically my whole lifestyle on a day-to-day basis, all the routines I do, all the habits I do, and kind of like the little science and tips behind that, as well as the sources and things that I use. So if you're interested in that, it's completely free. Also, I have it's a 15-minute strategy call. So we hop on there. We just go over a goal that you have, where you see yourself this year. And I just want to let you guys know it's completely free on my Instagram, and you can just go on there and get it.
Awesome. Kayla Vasquez said, proud of you both. Hi, Kayla. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to just kind of wrap this up. Dana, thank you so much. I absolutely love everything you had to say. You know, I'm one of your big fans, so I will so download that and definitely give you a review on what I think.
Awesome. Thank you for having me here today.
Everyone, so... just to kind of wrap up the Tonight Show, it's really all just about you. It's all about the way you think when you're alone, and that's literally why I started Beautiful Broken. I will say this every single episode. When you're alone on your bed with your phone in your hand, that is the moments that your life gets... that's when you create your life. That's when you develop your life. And I know it's like hard sometimes because you hang out with people that you care about what they think about you, and you want them... You may want to impress them. You may want them to think you're cool or whatever. You might be looking for validation from them. But if you can't look yourself in the mirror and love, and truly love who you are, you have absolutely nothing in life. And I struggled with that for a really, really long time. I was a people pleaser. I constantly wanted people to like me. I constantly wanted people to tell me, compliments and stuff like that. But it just got to the point where I just decided, enough's enough. Who am I? What do I want out of life? And am I truly, truly happy? If you have been struggling with anxiety, depression, you're worrying about your finances, you're not happy in the relationship that you're in, if you are any of those things, you are the only person who can change your situation. Nobody else can. So one thing that I do every morning to just kind of give you guys something to do is whenever I start getting a negative thought, when I start saying like, oh, this sucks, I don't like this about me, I'm blah, 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 that person sucks, I stop. And I say, right now, name 10 things that you're grateful for. And it could be simple. My shoes, my hair, my car, my breath. Or maybe you don't have to do 10. Maybe you can just do 5. But the purpose of that is to interrupt your negative thought patterns. So once you start interrupting your negative thought patterns, then you'll be able to control them more. So... thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Tune in next week when we have Jocelyn coming into the studio. We will be talking all about women and sex, so I'm excited about that one. We will see you guys next week, and I think we're going to wrap this up.